So first initial few minutes, maybe we'll discuss about what we discussed last class. Then we're going to start about this class, right? So I hope everybody, to everybody, I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
So please remind me, because I told you now my memory is a little bit weak. If you remind me, then only I'll go forward. Otherwise, it's difficult for me to move forward. So क्या discuss करे थे last class में? Voice is not coming. Voice is not coming properly.
Late, sir.
Sir, tool life prediction.
Tool life prediction उससे पहले की क्लास last Thursday हो गया था वो. Last Tuesday class हुई थी हमारी. उसमें we discuss something, some other things also. So that's why I'm telling
Sir,
you.
late mission, sir.
Yeah, we
Late
started
mission.
late mission last class, right? So that's why I'm telling you, please take notes. So जो क्लास में हम जब डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, खाली सुनना नहीं, सुनने के साथ में आप कहीं सुकून से बैठो, कहीं भी बैठो, whether it's at your home, whether it's your outside or wherever is possible, you take time. You see, 40 minutes, every 40 minutes we are taking the break, right? So 40 minutes you can sit somewhere and you can have some kind of notes, if possible, notes or notes नहीं तो कम से कम कुछ पेपर रख लो, कुछ something you can keep. अगर कुछ भी नहीं तो कम से कम screenshot तो ले लो. So when you are freed, when you come back to home, that screenshot has to convert into in your class notes. तो खाली स्क्रीनशॉट लेके रखने से फायदा नहीं है, क्योंकि इन दैट पर्टिकुलर इंस्टेंस यू नॉट एबल टू राइट, आपको लिखने के उसमें नहीं है, आप नहीं लिख सकते, आउटसाइड में है, तो आप स्क्रीनशॉट ले रहे. तो जब वापस आएंगे, व्हेन यू आर देयर इन द होम, यू नीड टू ओपन योर क्लास नोट्स एंड whatever the screenshots are there, that you need to convert and write into the your book, in your class notes. Even if you're having confusion, on the same day, most probably within 2 to 3 hours, I'm uploading the videos also. So even आप जब लिख रहे हैं, when you're taking notes from your slides, if you're having some confusion, so whatever discussed, you can go and listen my video also. Right, this much flexibility is there. So if you're not utilizing this, I think it is difficult for you to do in future. You see, normal when you're coming to class, when sir is teaching to you, whether me or any other faculty, so you're listening it, and after that you're taking a notes in the class itself. If not, after going back, you're opening the textbook and you're writing something. So now, in addition to that one, your sir's video also available with you. So कभी भी अगर कुछ confusion हुआ, sir कुछ बोले थे, फिर भूल गए हम या फिर याद नहीं है, तो फिर you can go back to the YouTube and you having a video and you can open the video and you go for the particular time. Don't want to listen entire session also. पूरा 1 घंटे का लेक्चर है तो पूरा 1 घंटा सुनने की जरूरत नहीं. जहां पर आपको कंफ्यूजन है वहां पर चले जाओ, वहां पर जस्ट सुनो क्या बोले सर उस टाइम पे. Then you can come to know and then you can note down your class notes. Take class notes properly. If you're taking the class notes, you don't want to worry anything, right? Assignment, when you're asking you to submit the assignment, if it is a class note, just scan the class notes, whatever you've written, and convert into PDF and send to me. Even if you are tomorrow, if you're giving some problems to you and ask you to solve it, so then you just refer your class note and solve it your problem and submit the assignment. So hardly it will take not much time. As per you see, you're not following as per the requirement. You're not attending the classes. That's why you're spending more time on writing the assignment, preparing for the exams, all these things. If you're focusing on your classes, if you're attending the classes regularly and taking proper notes, then all subject will be very easy for you. It's no way difficult for you. So please focus on that and prepare accordingly. So right, so we discussed about lathe last time. So we've seen the last time lathe syllabus also. In that last time we have seen the basic mechanism of lathe. So lathe is nothing but removing the material from a rotating workpiece. So in lathe, workpiece is rotating between the centers and tool is stationary. So on rotating workpiece with stationary tool, applying the force on the stationary tool, removing the material. So that is the basic mechanism of lathe we have seen last class. And also we have seen about different types of lathes, right? So automatic lathe is there, CNC lathes are there, engine lathe are nothing but center lathe, right? Bench lathe we have seen, different kind of lathes we have seen last class. In addition to that one, we also seen the specifications of the lathe, how to specify a lathe. If you want to buy a lathe, so on which basis you need to buy, because there is a different types, different sizes of lathes are available in the market, right? So specification by center distance, center to center distance, height of the center, as well as swing diameter over the bed and swing diameter over the carriage, right? So all these things we have seen, and also bar diameter. So these are the 5 more important specifications we have seen in last class, we discussed in the last class. If anybody not available in the last class, they're absent because of whatever the reason. So last class lecture is available on the YouTube in my channel. Please go to that video and you listen the video. So even if you're not attended last class, you can come to know what we discussed. So our main intention is not to stop you from anything. So attendance giving or not giving is no way no way much important for us, but we need to follow this as per the university norms. So even if you not come for some particular classes, videos are available, listen it, and from that, even after listening also, if you not understand, you're having some confusion, you can contact to me, and you can contact your particular faculty who's teaching, who's taught that subject. So please focus, utilize this, whatever the technology is coming to us. Actually, this is very beneficial to us. So please utilize it and do it properly. So now we can go for today's class. So this is the basic, last class we have discussed about basic mechanism, right? So in that basic mechanism, what we told, from rotating workpiece. So workpiece holded between the two centers. The centers are a dead center as well as a live center. So dead center is at headstock and live center is at tailstock, right? So these things we have seen in last class. So now if you see here in today's class, so just I am seeing what is this. So what I am doing now, locking this meeting. So we are not permitting any students to be come in. So after 40 minutes, anyway, you lock out, and then maybe next period, maybe other students can join. So in the class now, 28 students are there, 26 students are there. So already I have taken attendance. I'm also going to take attendance before, maybe 2 minutes before the end of the class. So if any students are left it in between, I'm not going to give them. So only, one student are left from the class. So only 27 means only 25 students are there in the class. I'm going to give attendance only for this 25. So in this, just come back. So in this, if you see cutting speed, if you see here, so here I'm not showing all the headstock, tailstock, all these things. Just I'm showing you the workpiece. So this is a typical workpiece in any lathe. So just I'm taking this pointer, right? So this is a typical workpiece. So this workpiece is holded in this is a 3-jaw check. So in this checks you're holded the workpiece, and this workpiece is rotating about its spindle. Whatever the spindle is there. So about that spindle, this workpiece is rotating. So this is your cutting tool, right? So this is a cutting tool, and this is the workpiece, and this is your holding device, work holding device. And here there is no tailstock because workpiece is not very long; it's very short only. So tailstock is not required. So last class we have seen if workpiece is very long, so then we need to have this other end support is required. But workpiece is short. If workpiece is somewhere about 200 mm or less than 200 mm, I think we don't need any kind of support in the second side. So this is a typical mechanism or operational condition for lathe. So this is a typical tool, and this is the workpiece. So this workpiece is rotating about its axis, right? And tool is stationary. At particular instance, tool is stationary. So what happened here when workpiece is rotating? You see, tool is penetrating. Actually, your workpiece is up to this. So from center, if you take, so up to this, your workpiece is there. But your tool, what happened? It is little bit penetrated into this one. So little bit advanced in that, so that whatever the material at this, when this workpiece is penetrating, whatever the material is there, so this material is removing. So this material is coming out in this form of a chips, right? So this is a typical chip. Just assume it is actually this is a pictorial diagram as drawn. So this is a typical chip is coming out from this workpiece. So as the this workpiece is rotating about its axis, and tool, what happened in this particular instance, this tool is stationary, but this tool is moving laterally at some speed, maybe 10 mm per minute or maybe 20 mm per minute. It is moving this direction. So as this is moving, so as this is because if tool is stationary at this particular point, so you can remove the material only at this instance. If you want to remove the material entire length, so this tool has to move at some particular speed to laterally. So this, whatever the lateral movement is there, so maybe you can see this pink arrow. So this is nothing but feed of the workpiece, feed of the tool. So feed is given to the tool in the lathe. So this is the feed, and this whatever at which velocity the cutting tool, this workpiece is moving, is considering as a cutting speed. So this is the basic cutting speed. It's represented by N, and this is the feed at which the tool is moving parallel to axis of the workpiece, is called as a feed. And in addition to these two, so this is one type of velocity, this is one type of motion or velocity. In addition to these two, there is one more kind of movement is there, that is this one. So in this direction, so as your workpiece is moved up to here, right, it is removed this portion, this dimension of diameter of the material. Then after that, further for reduction of the diameter, what has to do, this cutting tool has to come here, and in this, when it is commit here, already there is no material. So this tool has to penetrate further, right? So further, if you penetrate, then only it can remove this particular material. So this lateral penetration towards the axis of the rotation is called as a depth of cut. So this is called depth of cut. So here, like this, here we having 3 different motions are there. One is the cutting velocity, one is the feed motion or feed velocity, and third one is the depth of cut. So among this, so as this cutting velocity is very high, this is somewhere about meters per minute, whereas the feed velocity is less compared with the cutting velocity, somewhere about meters per minute or maybe per minute, we can say, not meters also, it is per minute. Your cutting velocity is somewhere about 100 meters or maybe 50 meters per minute. So your feed is somewhere about 100 or maybe 50 per minute. Means feed speed is still less. Whereas the depth of cut is still less, because depth of cut is hardly you are giving in microns, 100 microns or maybe 50 microns or maybe 200 microns only. That also up to complete your movement of the tool from here to here. Once you're given depth of cut, so until your tool is moving up until here, we are not giving any further depth of cut. So depth of cut is still less. So depth of cut normally how much we are giving? We are giving somewhere about 10 microns or 50 microns per minute, or maybe per pass, we can call it as a per pass. So from here, when tool is starting from here and as it is moving, so up to end of the workpiece, when it is completed one pass. So like this, in one pass, tool is advancing once a few microns. There is maybe 10 microns or 100 microns. So this normally depth of cut is given in terms of material tool advance into the material per pass, or maybe mostly it is called as a per pass. So like this, these are the three most important velocities or motions involved in lathe operations. So now coming to see what is the basic lathe operations. So what are the different kinds of lathe operations? So in that, maybe you can see. So whatever, this is nothing but is called as a straight turning. So last class we discussed straight turning is nothing but a cylindrical turning. So cylindrical turning means we need to make a surface which is cylinder, which is nothing but parallel to the axis of the workpiece. For example, this is the workpiece, right? So parallel to the axis of workpiece, whatever the surface you are making, so this surface is parallel to this axis of your rotation or axis of the workpiece. So this kind of thing is called as a straight turning, otherwise nothing but plane turning also. Some books is mentioning as a plane turning, so it's considering as a plane, right? Plane turning, and some books it is considering as a straight turning. So the plane turning or straight turning are also it's called as a cylindrical turning, because this plane turning or straight turning, you're going to make a cylindrical objects. That's why also it's considering as cylindrical turning also. In one textbook is mentioning something and other textbook is mentioning something, so don't confuse. Cylindrical turning, straight turning or plane turning, everything is same meaning. So then next one, sometimes what was used to you don't require a parallel surface, you need to have some kind of inclined surface with your axis. That inclined surfaces is called as a taper. So this making the taper is considering as a taper turning. So taper turning. So taper turning is similar to this one. So finally, you're going to make a taper. That's why this kind of turning is called as a taper turning. So whatever the operations you're making in lathe, it's used to called as a turning operations, right? So this is a taper turning, and this is a profile turning. This used to called as a profile turning or profile making. So what we are doing in profile, we are making some kind of typical objects. If you see here, it is a kind of circular or nothing but a spherical object we are manufacturing. Right, so spherical object you're making, or you're cutting the material in this form, this circular form you're cutting. So this kind of special shape, maybe you can have a circular shape, or maybe you can have some kind of profile or some kind of different kind of lines you can make. So this kind of surfaces you're making is called as a profiling. So this kind of called as a profiling or nothing but profile turning. So any kind of typical shape is called as a profile. So that making a profile is called as a profiling. And similarly, grooving. So there is one more important operations in this is grooving. So grooving is nothing but you're making some kind of groove. If you see here, so in here you're making a cylindrical surface, you make taper surface, you're making a profile surface. But if you're coming here, what you're doing here, you're not doing anything here. Here material is there, here material is there. So in this one small portion of the material you're removing. When you're removing this one, so this kind of surface is called as a groove, right? You're having in somewhere you're making some kind of depth. So deep material you're removing. So that is considering as a groove. So here also you're doing the same thing. So you're removing some deep material. So this kind of operation is called as a grooving operation. And similarly, so in addition to surface, using lathe, you can machine the end of the workpiece. So you're having a very long surface is there, like very long workpiece is there. In that, if you're doing this side, it is considering as a cylindrical turning or taper turning. In addition to that, you can finish the workpiece at the ends. So end is considering as a face. So this, whatever the material is removing on the end of the workpiece is calling it as a facing. This is called facing because you are making this. This is one kind of one end of the surface. So this end of the surface is considered as a face. So whatever your material removing in the face is considering as a facing. And similarly, face grooving. So in addition to face, facing means you're removing the material, entire material in the face is called as a facing. Similarly, in the face, maybe you can, like whatever the groove you can make on the surface, similarly you can make a groove in the face also. So whatever the groove you're making in the face is called as a face grooving. So this groove, whatever is there, it's nothing but a circular groove. So because maybe you're done in engineering drawing, right? Engineering graphics. So this is nothing but your side view. If you take, you're looking at the front view here. So this is a front view. It's look like this. If you see your side view, so this is look like a concentric circles. So because in this material you are removed. So this is nothing but a groove. So whatever you're seeing this, so this is a groove. So this kind of groove you're making. So this is called as a face grooving. And also some form tools also is we are making. In addition to profile. If it's some small in size, small in thing, we can make it as a profiling. But sometimes you need to have repeated some kind of shape or some kind of pattern we need to give on the surface of the material. So in that case, what you used to have this kind of tool. You need to have a form tool is required. So you need to cut this kind of profile, you need to cut, right? In that, what we need to do, our cutting tool also has to have the similar kind of profile. So cutting tool, this whatever you're seeing in brown portion, so this is actually a cutting tool. So in this, whatever edges you see, so this is nothing but sharp edges, nothing but cutting edge. When this cutting edge coming in contact with the rotating workpiece, then what happened? So material is removing in this shape only. So whatever the sharp edge is there, so in this shape only your material is removing. So this kind of forming is called as a cutting with form tool, or nothing but this is also called as a forming. So forming you have studied in your production technology, right? So what you're doing there, you're deforming the material in that shape, like your forging, like extrusion is calling as a forming process. So in that, what you're doing, you're heating the material, or maybe at room temperature, or maybe you're some other temperature. What you're doing, you're deforming the material into some required shape. So that is called as a forming. So this also called as a forming. This is called as a forming cutting. Form cutting we used to call, or nothing but cutting with the form tool. So whatever the shape of the tool is there, so the same shape of the tool you are transmitting on your workpiece. So similar way you are removing the material. So yes, you see this is the sharp edge. When the sharp edge is coming in contact with your workpiece, the same sharp edge, whatever the sharp edge is there, that material only removing. So finally, whatever this your image is there, so nothing but whatever the profile is there, so this profile is transferring on your workpiece. So this kind of operation is calling it as cutting with form tool, or nothing but form cutting. So then one more operation is there in lathe. You can do it as the drilling, grooving, internal grooving also. Even internal some surfaces are there. So like your face grooving, similarly you can make is internal grooves also. This whatever the grooves you have made it outside, similarly you can make the grooves inside also. So whatever the blue you see, this is a material, the hollow material. In that you can introduce some kind of tool, and tool having a cutting edge projection like this. So in this, if you're giving some kind of depth of cut in this direction, then what happened? Material is removing in this direction. So this is called as the internal grooving. And also one more important operations in turning is drilling. So drilling, in some cases we can use drilling in lathe. In most of the cases, if holes, this drilling is nothing but making holes in the object. So on lathe you can make holes also. Internal holes also you can make using a drilling tool. So using drilling tool, you're making a hole. This process is considered as a drilling process. So you can make the internal holes also. Similarly, you can do the cutting. Cutting are nothing but parting. So cutting are nothing but parting. So in that parting, what we used to do, we used to have very long workpieces there. So you see very long workpieces there. So here you're having a very long workpiece. In this long workpiece, you need to make a small pieces you need to cut. For example, you're having a 500 mm of workpiece, or maybe 1 meter of workpiece is there. From that, you need to make 100 mm of workpieces has to cut. In that, what happened in 500 mm, you can make 500 mm length of workpieces you can make. So in that, what you used to do, so in small mm, maybe this is maybe 1 mm or 2 mm, whatever the depth of the cutting tool is there. So cutting tool here, you don't need to give any feed. So this feed is not required to give. So you need to give only depth of cut you need to give. So you need to keep the tool here, the workpiece is rotating, and just you need to introduce the tool continuously into the workpiece. So then what happened? The feed is not required because your lateral movement of the workpiece is not required. Only thing your tool has to penetrate into the workpiece. So as it penetrates, it's removing the material, similar to groove. So here in the groove, after going some distance, we are stopping our machining process. But here you are not stopping. So this process has to continue until your cutting tool is touching at the center of the workpiece. So when it is reaching the center of the workpiece, there is no further material. Then what happens? This piece will be separate and this piece is separate, right? So two different pieces are coming. So this is called as a cutting off, nothing but parting. So parting of workpiece are nothing but cutting of the material. And similarly, threading. Threading also one of the important operations which can make on this lathe. And also there is one more important process called as a knurling. So in knurling, what you used to do, you're making some kind of special kind of pattern you're making on the surface of the workpiece like this. So this is not a thread. This is maybe you having some kind of diamond indentation or some kind of projections are there. Maybe if you see, especially when you're having a handles, so any kind of handles, to make a handle to be properly grip, so normally handles are not very much smooth. So on that we can find some kind of projections on the surface you can see. So that kind of projections or that kind of rough surface you're making is calling it as a knurling. So knurling is nothing but giving some kind of special pattern on the surface of the workpiece is called as a knurling. So each process maybe you can see. Somebody is disturbing the class. So everybody mute yourself. Fahad, mute your microphone. So now this is the few, just explained to you in the images there, but here these are the important operations which are there in this lathe operation. One is turning. So whether it's a taper turning, whether it's a cylindrical turning, whether it's a groove turning, anything. Turning is nothing but remove the material from the outside of the workpiece, or nothing but outside diameter of the workpiece to obtain the finished surface is called as a turning. Similarly, facing. So facing is nothing but, I told you, so facing is nothing but end of the workpiece. To produce a flat surface, the end of the workpiece are nothing but for making a face grooves. That is called as a facing. So if you're having, this is your workpiece, so this is your long workpiece, so whatever the end you are making, so whatever the surface you are making, that is called as the facing. Similarly, boring. So boring and drilling are the same process. So boring is nothing but it's enlarging the hole, whereas the drilling is nothing but making the hole. So drilling to produce the hole in the workpiece, and boring is enlarging the hole. So already existing, you having some hole is there. So already you drill some hole of some standard diameter. So now what you need to do, you need to enlarge the hole. That enlarging the hole is calling it as the boring. And making the hole, so whatever the initial making the hole, so there is no hole in that. You having a solid object, in that you are making a hole is called as a drilling. Making a hole is called as a drilling, and enlarging the existing hole is called as a boring. And similarly, reaming. So reaming is nothing but finishing the hole. So when you're making a drill bit, so maybe sometimes what happened, because chips are removed and your internal hole surface is not very smooth. So in that conditions, when you're inserting any other object into that one, so that object may get damaged. So avoid that one. What we need to do, we need to finish the inside surface of the tool. So whatever the finishing is doing inside the hole is called as a reaming. And one more operation called as a threading. So threading is nothing but we're cutting some kind of threads on the external surface or maybe internal surface. So external surface, maybe we have a bolt, right? So on the bolt, we having a threads. So this making a thread is called as a threading process. So even on the nut, if you say on the nuts, so nuts we have to have internal threads. So even internal threads also we can make. Threading, external or internal. To produce the external or internal threads on the workpiece is called as a threading. And similarly, knurling. So knurling is nothing but producing a regular shape, roughness on the surface, or nothing but some special pattern we are giving on the surface of the workpiece. So that pattern is considering as a knurling process. So here maybe all students will note down these definitions. Otherwise, you can take a screenshot. Then I will go for next slide. So if you take a screenshot, maybe I'll go for next slide. Otherwise, you can note down. I will give you 1 minute time. Can I go for next slide?
Yes, sir. We have taken a screenshot.
Okay. So this is a typical turning process. So what are the turning? Already explained to you their image. Now with some text, maybe I am explaining this also you can take a screenshot. So this is nothing but same thing. Whatever I told you. This is a cutting speed. This is feed, and this is the depth of cut. So whatever operation you're seeing, this is nothing but this is a cylindrical job. That's why this kind of process is called as a turning, or nothing but cylindrical turning process. So in this, what happened? Excess material is removing. Excess material is removed to reduce the diameter. In simple turning process, we are reducing the diameter. So initial, this is the diameter, right? And now after machining, after turning, so this is the diameter. So then here, whatever the tool we are using is calling it as a turning tool. So turning tool is nothing but simple tool which is using for simple turning process. So work is held is either check. So if it is small workpiece, is holded in the only check. If it is a very long, it is holded between the two centers. So one more tail stock also come into the picture. So longitudinal feed is given. So feed is given longitudinally, right? From here, this end to this end, whatever at which speed it is moving is called as the feed. Feed is giving longitudinally, and depth of cut is giving laterally. So depth of cut is giving in this direction. So longitudinal feed is given to the tool either by hand or power. So normally feed, whatever is there in the lathe, we are giving by hand only. So if engine lathe, if you take, so the more normally we are giving in hand. If not in hand, we used to have a wheel. So in our last class, if you see it, so when you were seeing the all parts of the lathe, so in that maybe on carriage, you having some wheel kind of things you're seeing. So if you rotate that wheel, so if you are rotating that wheel, so you are whatever the carriage is there moving in the moving forward parallel to the axis of the workpiece. So this by moving the carriage, by moving that wheel, you just forwarding the workpiece or nothing but you're forwarding your cutting tool. So by normally in feed you are giving by manually. So now your time is coming to end. I'm stopping here. So if anybody want to take screenshot, last 1 minute is left out. After that 15 minutes, you can join back in the class. Sorry, no. I think we are 40 minutes, right? Still time is there. It's only half 30 minutes. So I thought it's a 40 minutes. So still we having a 10 minutes time. So before 40 minutes, maybe we can try up other operations also. So if anybody want, please take a screenshot.
सर 1 मिनट सर राइट डाउन कर लेते सर
या लिखना है तो लिख लो आप आपको 2 मिनट टाइम देता हूं मैं डायग्राम वो मत डालो डायग्राम यू कैन कीप इट aside because it will take time later you can practice for the diagrams. Yes, can we go for next slide?
Yes, sir.
यस सर
Okay, because we having lack of time. Then second important operations and lathe is facing. So facing is nothing but, so you see whatever we are doing at the end portions, whatever the face of the workpiece that we are machining here. So here, as I told you, when we are doing the facing, so normally we are not giving any feed. So whatever the feed is there, the feed will be 0. There is no feed or nothing but feed is nothing but 0, we can say. So only 0, we're giving only 0 feed. So only what we are doing here, we are giving depth of cut. Only our workpiece is, your tool is moving in this direction. As tool is moving in this direction, so whatever the excess material that is maybe in half mm or 0.5 mm or maybe 1 mm, so that material is removing. So facing is nothing but, so machining the end surface of the workpiece is called as a facing. So machining end of the job and producing a flat surface. So here if you say you're making a cylindrical surface, but in facing you're making a flat surface. So flat surface are to reduce the length of the job. Whether you are making a flat surface, otherwise you're reducing the length. Maybe initially it is less, like 120 mm or maybe 110 mm. So this 110 mm, you need to make it 100 mm. Then what you need to do, whatever the excess, the 10 mm or maybe that 5 mm, whatever is there, that you need to remove it. So this is using for making the flat surface as well as to reduce the length of the workpiece. So the same process, the flat surface, this facing is, we are doing the facing process. So for example, if it is a 105 mm, so normally depth of cut we are not giving. So whatever here, so whatever the feed is there, so feed we are giving somewhere about 1 mm or 2 mm. So we are giving a feed of 1 mm or 2 mm, then moving the workpiece, moving the tool in this direction. So here depth of cut is continue, feed is intermittent. So means once you're given the feed and then you're continuously moving the moving tool until center of the workpiece, center of your workpiece. Once reach center of the workpiece, whatever the excess material is there, that excess material is removed. Then again, if a sufficient length is not come, then again you need to give some kind of feed, maybe 1 mm or 2 mm give feed, and then again move this tool until center of the workpiece. So like this you need to give. So in this condition, if you take, so this whatever your motion is giving in this direction, so this is considering as a depth of cut, and wherever the motion you are moving this one, this is considering as a feed. So in parallel, in this cylindrical surface, whatever you are giving, here you are giving quite opposite. So whatever the feed directions, whatever the perpendicular to the axis direction, whatever you are doing, we are moving is considering as a depth of cut, and whatever towards the axis, whatever the movement your cutting tool is moving, so this is considering as a feed, right? So quite opposite in this facing and turning is the whatever the feed and depth of cut is quite opposite is happening. So turning tool here also whatever the tool is required is called as a turning tool only. So whatever the tool we are using for plain turning, so it's turning operation. Same thing we can use it facing, but only thing, initial case in the turning process, whatever the tool you see, the tool is perpendicular to the axis. So perpendicular to the axis. So in previous case, your tool is in this direction. So your tool is in this like this. But here when you're coming, your rotated tool at particular angle, maybe at 15 degrees or maybe 30 degrees, so that your sharp edge can connect with this surface. So previously, sharp edge is connecting this surface only. So why? Because our cutting tool shape in such a way that your cutting tool in this phase. So like this, your cutting tool is there. So this cutting phase is parallelly connecting to this one. But here by rotating about 15 degrees, so whatever the cutting tool sharp edge is there, so this sharp edge is contacting with this surface, which is nothing but 90 degrees to this surface. So this is this one important thing in facing. That tool is same. So same turning tool is there, but only it's rotate. We need to keep some angle here. So here we are keeping perpendicular to this, so perpendicular to the axis. But here we are keeping it particular inclination. We are making some kind of inclination. So feed. So here we are giving feed in the direction perpendicular to the workpiece axis. So feed is giving in this direction. So in normal turning, so feed is giving parallel to the axis. But in facing, feed is giving in this direction, perpendicular to the axis. So length of the tool travel is nothing but radius of the workpiece. So obviously, so how much distance it can travel? So from here, from this end to up to center, it need to travel. So once if center it is traveled, so all the material, because it's a cylindrical, it is symmetry about its center, right? So until this point and symmetry about the center and rotating about its axis. So until your tool is traveling from one edge to center of this axis, your material is completely removed, right? So radius of your workpiece, whatever the traveling distance in this is equal to the radius of the workpiece. So depth of cut is nothing but direction parallel to the workpiece. So depth of cut we need to do in this direction. So all students, keep your microphones to be closed. So close your microphones. So mute yourself. Don't keep it unmute. Otherwise, I will remove from this class. If anybody doing nonsense like this kind of thing, I'll remove them. So right. So everybody want to note down? Please note down. Otherwise, so take a screenshot. I'll remove this these marks. So take a screenshot. Then we can go for next slide. I can go for next slide.
Yes, sir.
Yes. The one more operation, important operation, we can call it as a knurling process. So knurling is nothing but producing a rough texture on the surface of the cylindrical surface of the workpiece. A rough texture we are making. So mostly for some kind of holding purpose. So maybe some kind of handles when we are manufacturing, or some kind of the things which is we are holding with our hands or holding with something. So for that surfaces, we need to have some kind of, if it is very perfectly smooth, very difficult to hold it, right? There is no friction and the possibilities are there. It can slip from our hand. So in that conditions, what we need to have? We need to have a rough surface is required. So, and also this rough surface has to have some good pattern. So some kind of decorative pattern it has to be there, because it has to be look good. It's not look like it is some kind of projections are there, some kind of thing. Instead of that one, you need to make a regular pattern kind of things you need to make. So that operation is calling it as a knurling operations. So knurling is nothing but this is a flat surface, right? It is a circular cylindrical surface. So in this surface, this is very smooth surface is there. To make a kind of roughness, so we are giving this kind of pattern we are making. So some kind of material we are removing, or some kind of material you are keeping. So this is happening by knurling tool. So this whatever the tool is there. So this is knurling tool. So this tool is knurling tool. So knurling tool is nothing but some kind of cylindrical tool only it is. It also rotating as the workpiece rotates. So this also rotate in touch, contacting with the workpiece. So what happened? Whatever the images are there, so whatever the projections are there in that workpiece, the same kind of projection is transferring to the whatever the projections on the tool, same kind of projection is transferring onto the workpiece. For example, you need to have this kind of pattern is required. Same kind of patterns are there on the knurling tool. So this pattern is transferring to your cutting tool on your workpiece. So this is typically a forming process actually. This is not a cutting process. So here material removal is 0. So actually material is not removing. Only that small thickness of the material is deforming in such a way that it can have some kind of projections and give some kind of roughness on the surface. So this is, remember, among all the cutting operations on the lathe, knurling operation is there, which is having zero material removal. We're not material removing. That's why this process, exactly if you're talking about definition of machining process, this is not considered as a machining process, because we are not removing the material. Only we are deforming the material in small layer of the material. So maybe 10 microns or 100 microns of layer of material, we are deforming in this pattern. That's why this process is called as a forming process actually. So we are not cutting the material. So these grooving and other things we can see, because the last few minutes, seconds are left out. Please take screenshot, otherwise you can note down this. So after that, we may have a break of 15 minutes. So after 15 minutes, we can join back again. So we can continue with this topic. So please take a screenshot, or maybe you can note down, because you're having only 10 seconds, I think some 15 seconds are left out for end of this session. So in this 15 minutes, take a break, refresh, and come back by 11:05, because now 10:50, right? So 10:55 is there. So by 11:10, you can come back to the class. So we can continue the class at 11:10. So parting, next time going for next operation. So this is nothing but chamfering. I think chamfering we have initially we not discussed. So chamfering is nothing but it's making, so whatever the surface corners are there, when you're making a rectangular or maybe you can making a cylindrical object, at surface at the corners you can find very sharp corners are there. So we have discussed in starting of the classes. So in always we need to avoid the sharp corners. So why? Because these sharp corners used to acting as a stress concentrators. So if you avoid the stress concentration, so you need to this whatever the sharp corners are there. So at this sharp corner, you need to give some kind of remove the material at the sharp corner. So that process of removing the material at sharp corner is called as a chamfering. So chamfering is nothing but some inclination you are providing. So normally, if you see, if a normal workpiece, if you say it is this kind of thing, maybe you can see, you can have this kind of workpiece. Workpiece you need to make, because this. So this kind of workpiece when you're making, so maybe this portion, if you say this, whatever the corner is there, it is very sharp. If some kind of force is acting in this direction, so assume whatever the area is there here. So area of, if you take a very sharp corner, so maybe you can have this corner. So at this particular corner, if some force is applied, so if this is a corner of your rectangle, you assume it is a rectangular block, right? So if in this particular corner, if some force is acting in this direction, right? So what is the area? So force, maybe you're having some 1 kilonewton or maybe 10 kilonewton force is acting. So whatever the area on this force is acting, hardly very small, because just a corner. So some one particular point, maybe that may be some microns. So this force of maybe a 1 kilonewton or 10 kilonewton divided by that micron, if you want to calculate the stress at this particular point, it is very high. It is going to be in giganewton. So even sometimes it's more than that. So then what happened? That corner is going to wear out. To avoid that, what we used to doing, so this whatever the sharp corners are there, so removing the sharp corner, we are giving some kind of inclination, some kind of angle cutting we are doing, like this angle cutting we are doing, so that whatever the sharp corner we are avoiding, if any kind of force is coming in this direction, so that force, if you want to top view, maybe you're going to get this kind of rectangle will be there. So instead of one point, you are getting some kind of rectangle. So in this, if some kind of force is acting, so that the force divided by this area, your stresses generating in this particular point is decreasing. So to avoid this stress concentration, we are using chamfering. So this kind of cutting is called as a chamfering. So in this kind of cutting, normally what we used to do, we used to have bevel kind of tool we are using. So bevel sharp machined edge. So beveling. So this process is called as a beveling, because we used to make some kind of tapering or some kind of beveling we are doing. So this is called as a beveling. So in that, normally this kind of the cutting edge is similar to this direction. We're using that cutting tool we are cutting, similar to the form turning. So form turning means whatever the edge of the cutting tool is there. So similar to the edge of the cutting tool, we are cutting the workpiece. So chamfering tool normally providing something about 45 degrees. So 45 degrees if you provide, so it is symmetric. So this time, so from here also 45 degrees, from here also 45 degrees. Instead of 45 degrees, if you're giving something about 90 degrees, what happened? From here it is 60 degrees and from here it is 30 degrees. It is become an unsymmetry. To making symmetry, normally usual practice is there. So we used to give chamfering something about 45 degrees. So 45 degrees, nothing but whatever the sharp corner is there. So your sharp corner, you're cutting something about 45 degrees. So 45 degrees you're cutting. So 45 degrees chamfering is providing. So this is avoiding sharp edges, so avoiding the stress concentration, make assembly easy also. So even this is, assume this is a bolt and this bolt is running on a nut. If this is a sharp corner, it's very difficult, or it's little bit complication to drive this nut onto this bolt. If it is some tapered kind of thing is there, so that if it is there, it can easily go into the bolt, right, or easily drive onto the nut. That's also for making assembly to be easier, also required to make a chamfering. And also it is improving aesthetics. So it is giving some typical shape, right? Some different shape you're giving. It is some aesthetic looks also is providing by giving this kind of chamfering. So this process is called as a chamfering. So chamfering also is done by lathe. So please note down this point. Otherwise you can take a screenshot. Yeah, please note down this, and then we can go for next slide. So then drilling. So drilling is nothing but making an internal holes. Already we've seen. So this is normally a drill in drilling. So whatever the drill bits are there. So most of the cases, drill bits we used to insert at tailstock. So whatever the tailstock is there. So where we are keeping as dead center. So whatever we use called as the dead center. So in the dead center we are keeping this drill bit, and from this we are giving a feed in this direction. So in this direction you're giving the feed, right? So like this is the workpiece. So we need to make a hole in this direction. So we need to keep this drilling cutting tool. What are the drill bit is there? So drilling cutter is there. So the drilling cutter normally we used to keep in the tailstock. So by this we're giving a feed in this direction now. So now you can, what happened in tailstock also you're having some kind of wheel. So rotating this wheel, so this tailstock will move forward. So because this I've shown you in last class, there is a guideways are there. So tailstock normally moving the here. If you say here there is some kind of guideways will be there. So if you're rotating this one, so this wheel, so this is moving forward. If you're rotating in other direction, it's moving backward also. So we need to, what we used to do here, now there is no cutting tool. So cutting tool is not in this direction. So this direction cutting tool we are not introducing. So cutting tool we are keeping in tailstock. So tailstock we having whatever the spindle in the tailstock. So in that we inserted this. So workpiece is here also same thing. Workpiece is rotating at drill bit. So whatever the tool is there is stationary. So as this is rotating and this is moving this direction, then what happened? This drill bit gradually penetrating into this workpiece and removing the material in this portion. And there is some kind of grooves are there in this drill bits. So from this, the material is coming out in the form of a chips. So about the drilling process, maybe we can discuss when we're discussing about drilling machine. So this drilling also can be possible on lathe. So please take this also to screenshot, or maybe you can note down. If somebody is listening on the system, please note down this. Can you go for next slide? The typical drilling operation. Then is coming to be most important operation, that is called taper turning. So now these are the basic operations in lathe. So turning, drilling, chamfering, filleting, so all these things, right? Grooving. So now is coming to be again taper turning. So plane turning is normally we are moving the whatever the carriage parallel to the workpiece and we are removing. But when you want to make a kind of taper, then what we used to do, we used to rotate the tailstock, or we rotate the tool post, whatever the tool post is there. So this tool post has to rotate a particular some angle. So that angle, at which angle we need to rotate, that is depending upon how much dimension of the chamfering you want to make. So whenever you're making any kind of chamfer or any kind of taper, so taper maybe you having two different diameters are there. So one is the maximum diameter and the one is the minimum diameter. So in this maximum diameter, minimum diameter, there is some length is there. So this will be depends upon the included angle. So this whatever the included angle is there. So this included angle is given. So this whatever your tailstock is there, whatever your tool post is there, when you're making a tool to be at the particular inclination. So how much angle has to rotate? That is given by this formula. So this is the formula at which we can rotate our cutting tool, so that we are going to get, so one side is D1 diameter and other side is the D2 diameter over length of L. So this you're going to get, if you know what is the size of the diameter of your workpiece initially, and one end and other end, what is the size of the diameter of the workpiece, D2, this is D1 and this is D2, right? This is D2, and distance between D1 and D2 L. So how much portion you need to cut this? That for that with that much inclination. Initially, your cutting tool may be like this, right? So after that, what we need to do, you need to, if you like this, if you keep it, you're not going to get the taper surface. Now, what we need to do, so initially, maybe normally whatever the turning you're doing in this direction. But for making a taper turning, what we need to do, you need to, instead of keeping in this direction, you has to rotate the workpiece, this cutting tool at particular inclination. So maybe this has to be like this. So like this, you need to rotate. So this angle is same as this alpha. So these are how much inclination you need to give. So this is nothing but your alpha value. So alpha is equal to d1 minus d2 divided 2l. So in this direction, now what happened? Whatever the feed is there, feed is you are giving in this direction. So this direction is parallel to your surface. So as your work is going on, so this is moving in this direction. So it is not moving in this direction. So it's not moving in this direction. The workpiece is cutting tool is not moving in this direction. Instead of that, cutting tool is moving in this direction. So as it moves from here to here when it is moving, so that like that it is removing the material in this direction. It is removing the material. So this material is removed. So how much the inclination is given, that has to calculate by this tan alpha. The alpha is nothing but angle of inclination. So that is d1, bigger diameter of the taper minus smaller diameter of the taper divided by 2l. So there's a different methods are there. This is one of the method, the tailstock method. So whatever is taper turning method, whatever I told you initially. So it is, if you want to turn in this direction, so right, so this is a taper turning you want to make. So you need to cut. This is your tool post. So tool post has to give the inclination, this one. So this inclination is calculating using that one. So like this, there is a different methods are there. So this is nothing but whatever we are seeing is nothing but swiveling compound rest, or swiveling is nothing but rotating the compound rest about that particular inclination. That is d1 minus d2 divided by 2l. So in addition to that, you can make taper by the farm tool. The farm tool is very simple. So your tool, whatever the chamfering just now we have seen, similar to the chamfering. So whatever our tool, whatever the tapering is there, so that same size of the tapering size, so your cutting tool has to be there. So in that, as the cutting tool is rotating, because already your cutting tool is inclined, cutting tool is tapered already. So this whatever the taper inclination is there, so that taper inclination you're going to produce on the workpiece. So like this, if you keep it, this is rotating about its axis, and you're keeping this workpiece. Keeping your workpiece is normal only, right? You're feeding this direction. So as it's moving forward, so whatever the size of the shape of your workpiece tool, cutting tool is there, same shape is producing on the workpiece. So this is the one of the method to make a taper object. Farm tool. So using farm tool, we can manufacture the taper object, or nothing but taper turning. One is a swiveling compound, and the third one, taper turning attachment. There is some kind of attachment also providing. So taper turning attachment, we used to have some kind of brackets we used to provide. So in this, maybe you can see. So you see here. So in this, so workpiece you are mounting. So whatever the cutting tool is there, we need to provide some kind of movement for the workpiece. So this is the workpiece we are mounting here. So in this, whatever the cutting tool is there, its cutting tool is following a profile path. So that profile path is given by this extra taper turning attachment. So in this, maybe you can see cross slide block, carriage block, all these guide bars, all these things are there. So on this, we are fitting the workpiece. So as it moves, we are fitting the cutting tool. So as the workpiece as cutting tool is moving forward, it is following this path. For example, if you say you are keeping your workpiece on this, your cutting tool on this, so this is the workpiece. So as the carriage is moving forward direction, your workpiece is moving forward as well as it is following this direction. It means it is going some kind of inclined direction. So by using this special attachment, also you can make the lathe taper turning can be possible. These are the three different methods are there to make a taper turning: farm tool, swiveling compound rest, and the taper turning attachment. Simultaneously, sometimes what happens, some experts are there. So in that expert, they can make by controlling this movement. If you want to make a small taper, you not want to make a big taper. In that, rotating your tool post and making an inclination, calculating angle is sometimes difficult. Then the expert worker, or if a skilled worker is there, he can automatically control feed as well as the depth of cut. So how it is doing? Maybe for example, you having this one, right? So you having this kind of workpiece is there initially. Maybe I'll remove all this. So simultaneously feed and depth of cut. Simultaneously feed, one of the last option to make a taper. So just assume initially you have a workpiece like this. A cylindrical workpiece is there. So from this cylindrical workpiece, you need to make. So this kind of blue portion of a taper workpiece you need to make. So one thing, all three methods you're seeing by rotating, swiveling of tool post, one method, form tool, one method, and extra attachment is one method. Fourth method, simultaneously control of feed and depth of cut. For example, if expert skilled worker is there, he can keep this workpiece in this direction, right? And he can machine this surface in such a way that he can continue from here. He can start, right? So instead of starting here, so he need to keep a cutting tool here in this particular position, and now he can maintain the simultaneously. This is called as a feed, right? So this is called as a feed, and this is called as a depth of cut, right? If he control this feed and depth of cut parallelly, so you're moving this direction as well as you're moving this direction. You're moving this direction and as well as you're moving this direction. You're moving this direction and then you're moving this direction. Like this, simultaneously you need to give the feed and depth of cut. So with that also you can make this kind of taper surface can be made. But normally this used to possible by a skilled operator or skilled worker, not by other people's. Other people's is very, very difficult, because so like this you are making. So you normally what happened in normal operations, what we used to do, first we are giving the feed. So until this, initially we are removing some 100 mm, 100 micron. Yes. What happened? Any question? Hello, any student having any questions?
No, sir.
Sir, by parting also we can, another way by parting also we can do it, sir.
What parting?
This cutting, sir.
You see, we are talking about tapering now, right?
No, yes, sir, you are right. But I'm asking another way we can do it by cutting also. बोल के पूछ रहा हूँ.
Yes, you see, taper turning क्या है? Normally what you're doing a plain cylindrical turning, right? Cylindrical turning आप कैसा करते हैं? आप ये ऑब्जेक्ट है आपका इनिशियल जो रेड मार्क है ना, ये ऑब्जेक्ट है. थोड़ा डायमीटर रिमूव करना है. क्या करते हैं आप? ऐसा मतलब you just giving a feeding the workpiece and going on feeding in the same direction, not giving any depth of cut. So when workpiece tool is moving from this particular point to this particular point, only initially you're giving some kind of depth of cut. Then you continue depth of cut until here. You're not changing any. You're not giving any further depth of cut. Once you are reaching here, then again you are keeping your workpiece, bringing back, and again here, because your workpiece is now here. So now you're giving a little more depth of cut, right? You're giving depth of cut like this, right? So depth of cut like this, and you're continuing the process up to here. That is a simple turning process. But here what we are doing, we are simultaneously giving depth of cut as well as a feed. I think it is not grooving. It is nothing but a plain turning process. What we are doing, plain turning में क्या कर रहे हैं हम? तो यहाँ से लेके यहाँ पर एक बार feed दे दिए, एक बार depth of cut दे दिए, feed continue कर रहे हैं. Depth of cut we are not giving in between. So depth of cut is giving only starting of the workpiece. When tool is there here, at that time only we are giving depth of cut. So after that, when you're moving your cutting tool up to here, we are not giving any depth of cut. Depth of cut is constant. Whatever you're giving here, same depth of cut is maintained up to here. But in this taper turning, when you're giving simultaneously feed and depth of cut, then what we're doing, we are giving feeding. Feeding is nothing but we are moving this direction. So whatever we are moving the cutting tool in this direction is called as a feed, right? So we are giving feeding. In addition to feeding, even when the cutting tool is this particular point, we are giving some depth of cut. Maybe we are giving depth of cut some 100 micron. And when you are giving feed, when you are moving the workpiece at assume at 10 mm. So when you are moving at 10 mm, then giving a feed of maybe again 100 mm, 100 micron of feed, again we are giving in this direction. So like that we are giving simultaneously the feed and depth of cut. This is also one of the method to make taper operations, or nothing but taper turning. So normally this kind of process we are not following in our in workshop or in making any kind of taper object, but only if we want to do it very fast in industries, very fast, some small object is there, it's not need much very small size is there, and very fastly you need to complete. In that case you need to give this simultaneously tool, simultaneously longitudinal and cross feed. So longitudinal feed is considering as a feed, and cross feed is nothing but depth of cut. So this cross feed is nothing but depth of cut. मतलब दो डायरेक्शंस में अपने longitudinal डायरेक्शन और lateral डायरेक्शन, दो डायरेक्शन में एक साथ में आप अपने टूल को कंट्रोल करके आगे बढ़ रहे. So वैसा करने से भी आप you are going to make this kind of inclined surface. So this is one of the method. So maybe if anybody is confused, maybe end of the class maybe ask me. So these are the four methods are there for making a taper. So then coming to thread cutting. So thread cutting also one of the important process in lathe. If you see in this image, so you see, so here making some kind of threads, right? So threads they're making. So making for normally what we used to do for making thread also is nothing but a groove only. So threading is nothing but it's a spherical groove. You can have a spiral groove making on the surface of a cylindrical surface of an object is called as a groove. Is nothing but a threading. तो थ्रेडिंग आप देखेंगे तो आपको उस जो प्रोजेक्शन दिखता है आपको थ्रेड में जो आप इफ यू टच दैट थ्रेडिंग पोर्शन ऑन योर बोल्ट और नट you can see some kind of projections are there. Actually that projection, in between the projection you are finding a groove. So exactly if you're speaking what we are doing, we are cutting that, we are having a surface of the material is same as it is. So in that surface we are making a groove which is a spiral groove. It is not a cylindrical groove. Instead of a cylindrical groove we are making some kind of spiral groove. So spiral groove is nothing but a spring. हमारे पास एक spring है ना, spring, how the spring is there? So spring is not a cylinder, right? It's like a spiral. So एक के बाद एक coil to coil it is making. Similar way, that kind of groove we are making on the external surface. So here if you say, so here a small groove is there. So this is actually single groove in spiral way. It is completely surrounded this complete workpiece. So we are making that only in threading. What we are doing, we are making some kind of spiral groove on the surface of the workpiece. So on the lathe, internal and external threads are cut either with the help of a thread tool or with the help of a tap or die. So maybe for tap we are using for external and dies we are using for internal threads. There should be a certain relations between the job revolution, so revolutions and the revolution of the lead screw. Actually what happened, I told you this is a spiral groove. So in this there is a clear cut relations between the motion of this cutting motion as well as the feed motion. So what happened, so whatever the pitch of the thread is there, pitch of the thread is nothing but whatever the projections are there in thread, the corresponding distance between the side by side the projection, that is called as the pitch of the thread. I think this pitch of the thread already I hope you learn in your design of machine member 1 in last semester. Otherwise you can learn in this semester in design of machine members. So in this is called as a lead. So in this what happened in threading most important thing, so when the rotation, one rotation of this workpiece is happened, at that time your feed, whatever the feed direction, it has to move at a distance equal to pitch of the thread. For example, pitch of the thread is 10 mm, and when this workpiece is completely rotates one revolution, for example this is something about 100 mm diameter of the workpiece is there. So 100 mm and the total circumference, if you take pi d, pi into diameter is 100 mm. So whatever the diameter complete revolution is there, so in this complete revolution your cutting tool is moving laterally equal to that pitch. Pitch for example is 10 mm. So 10 mm pitch only it is moving when your workpiece is completely rotate about its axis, one complete revolution. So those relations is very important in thread cutting. So that's why normally thread cutting we are not giving feed manually. So we are giving an extra attachment is there. There is a split nut is there on the lathe. So we are engaging the split nut with the lead screw. When engaging the split nut with the lead screw, what happened? So this based upon your rotation, headstock rotation. So one rotation headstock is given. So in that time, your whatever the carriage is there, it is moving only the distance equal to the pitch of the thread. That is maybe 10 mm. If pitch of the thread is 10 mm. So this when is completely rotation of your workpiece. So complete one rotation of the workpiece. Your whatever the carriage is there, whatever the cutting tool is there, it is moving equal to pitch of the thread. The pitch of the thread is, for example, 10 mm, it is moving by 10 mm. If pitch of the thread is 15 mm, so this moving in the 15 mm when complete one revolution is happened. So this is the most important thing in thread cutting. If that is not happened, then you're not going to get the thread which is required pitch. So normally pitch is very important when you're using for your machines, when whatever the bolts, whatever the nuts you're using. So whatever the threads are there on the bolt and nuts. So depending upon the thread pitch only, you need to get the forces and as well as a deformation in the machines. So thread pitch is very important. So as per the thread pitch only, whatever the pitch is required for you, so accordingly only you need to give the feed motion as well as the rotational motion. So the tool should be grounded to the proper shape of the profile and the thread to be cut. And also, so whatever the groove you're making, so the groove has to be have the same shape of the cutting tool. So normally we are using in cutting tool the similar shape of whatever the groove you're making. So this is about thread cutting. So maybe a few more things in thread cutting. Maybe I can discuss you in further next classes. So anybody having any questions now about thread cutting? maybe if possible, maybe next class I will explain to you again if you're having any confusion on thread cutting. So now we can go to the lathe accessories. So because we're having some 7 minutes time is there, just this will be my last slide. So lathe accessories. So lathe accessories are nothing but so up to here, whatever the things are there, these are the basic cutting processes or cutting operations performing on lathe. Crane turning, taper turning, thread cutting, groove cutting. So all these things are there. So these are the basic operations on perform on lathe. So then coming to the lathe accessories. So when you're performing these operations in a machine, whether in on lathe machine, you used to have some attachments are required to make this machining process or cutting process to be performed very smoothly without any disturbance. It has to be performed. So for that, we need to have some holding devices are required. So in that, we can classify the holding devices into two categories. One is work holding device, which is holding the work. So work is holding on the machine, right? In between the two centers, we are holding the workpiece and we are rotating the workpiece. So whatever the attachments we are providing to holding the workpiece is called as the work holding devices. And similarly, we are mounting a tool on the tool post. So right, we are mounting a tool on the tool post. We are mounting a tool on the tool post. So this tool also has to hold properly. If you not hold properly, then what happened? There is a because of this relative motion, this your tool is coming getting away from the workpiece. To make a proper cutting to happen on the lathe, we need to have a properly hold the cutting tool. So for this holding the cutting tool, whatever the devices we are using, that used to called as the tool holding devices are nothing but cutting tool holding devices. So work holding devices and tool holding devices. So whatever the work pieces are holding, that is maybe 3-jaw check or maybe 2-jaw check, or maybe you having a tailstock or centers, dead center or live center, whatever things are there. So all these things are coming in the work holding devices. So those devices are using holding the workpiece, right? Work holding devices. Similarly, whatever the tool post and whatever other things are there, so which is holding the cutting tool. So whatever the cutting tool is there, so those attachment is considering as a cutting tool holding devices. So majorly, if you take the work holding devices, we used to have lathe centers. So in between the centers, we are holding the workpiece, check, and also face plate. For small objects, normally we are using the face plate or magnet plates also we are using. Checks nothing but whatever the lathe you're seeing, so jigs on which you are mounting the workpiece, your workpiece is called as a check. Maybe checks are 3-jaw checks as well as the 4-jaw checks. And also sometimes we're using mandrels. For normally for hollow objects, we're using mandrel. We're using the steady and follow rest. For heavy object, normally we're using the follow rest. Or maybe for very long objects, also we're using the follow rest. And some kind of very long and small diameter object, maybe we are using lathe dogs as well as the drive plates. So these are the few important work holding devices. Similarly, for tool holding devices, so strain and offset tool holder. So tool holder normally we are mounting on the tool post. So tool holders are required. When thread tool holder and boring tool bars, so all these things are there, which is required for holding the cutting tool. And also turret. Last class we have seen turret lathes, capstan and turret lathes. So in that capstan and turret lathes, the tailstock is replaced with the turret we have seen. So these turrets also holding the cutting tools. So these turrets are everything is coming in tool holding devices. So these are the two most important accessories are required in any lathe machine. One is work holding device and second one is a tool holding device. Fine. So with this, just I'm stopping for today's class. There is only 3 minutes are left out. If anybody having any questions, please ask me now. So anybody having questions, please ask me. I hope everybody is available.
What is about late dogs?
Actually, dogs
Lathe
are
dogs.
nothing. Yeah. Actually, lathe dogs are nothing, but it is some kind of small kind of hinges kind of things will be there. Hinges. So those hinges are using to hold. If your workpiece is very long, from tailstock to headstock. So even though if tailstock you are giving support, because of very long, there is some kind of sagging is happening in the workpiece. To supporting that one, we are providing some kind of tool lathe dogs. So all these accessories, inshallah, we are going to see in the next class. Next class, I will explain to you each and everything. The centers, checks,
Okay.
everything I am going to explain to you.
सर थ्रेड कटिंग में जो है ना वो जो एग्जैक्टली एमएम्स में रहता ना
Yes.
डिस्टेंस
Yes. Yeah.
यस सर वो हाथ से करते हैं या नहीं तो मोटर्स लगा के करते हैं
And
सर
motor
machines?
thread cutting is done by it's not doing by manually. It is done by machine only. मोटर लगा के करते, manually नहीं करते हो.
वही सर वो एग्जैक्टली
है?
कोडिंग रहना पड़ता ना सर
Yes.
उसमें।
So exactly, it's not a coding, right? It's just whatever the speed is there, जितना speed rotate हो रहा, जब speed complete एक rotate हुए होगा, तो we need to move the cutting tool that much distance only. अगर 10 mm move होना है तो 10 mm ही move होना है. जब पूरा आपका वर्कपीस एक रोटेशन कंप्लीट कर लिया, so at that time your feed, whatever the workpiece is moving laterally, so that has to speed in the only in that particular distance only. अगर 10 mm बोलते वो 10 mm ही मूव होना है, तो 10 mm से ज्यादा मूव नहीं होना, 10 mm से कम मूव नहीं होना. अगर ज्यादा या कम मूव हो गया, तो whatever the threading you, whatever pitch you need to maintain, the pitch is not able to maintain properly. तो इसलिए नॉर्मली क्या करते हैं, तो मैनुअल इन्वॉल्वमेंट नहीं रहता थ्रेड कटिंग में. तो उसको एक मैं बोला ना अभी, you need to have kind of split nut will be there on the lead screw. So when you engage in that split nut, आपका जो कैरेज का मूवमेंट और आपका जो हेडस्टॉक का मूवमेंट दो सिंक्रोनाइज हो जाता. तो जो सिंक्रोनाइज होने के बाद आज ये जितना मूवमेंट होता उसके लिहाज से ये आपका कैरेज मूव होता. तो आप मैनुअली वो फीड देने की जरूरत नहीं रहती वहां पर. So normally in thread cutting, we are not giving feed manually. So feed is automatically by rotation of your headstock, rotation of the spindle. So your feed is directly depending upon the rotation of the spindle, right? So these all things maybe I'll explain to you in the next class because I don't have much available data now. Maybe next class I will show you the videos also how we are doing the thread cutting.
ठीक है सर.
So any other question? So if no questions, we can stop here. I'm stopping my list. If anybody having any question, maybe you can ask me in next class. You can ask me.